Action. Welcome to another episode of the Action Podcast. We have episode 27, and today we're going to be doing a few films, but the number one film we're going to be going over is Pinocchio. We've also got a chance to see Medieval, which stars Ben Foster. The third film was Barbarian, which was number one on the box office this week with 10 million.
Which is outrageous.
Yeah. Fourth is End of the Road, starring Queen Latifah and Ludacris. Chris, what's his last name? Chris, who knows? But Ludacris. And then the fifth one is a documentary called Anthrax Attacks that Pete will that Pete will be able to give us a little insight on. So with
In
that,
the shadow of 9/11.
oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So with that, Pete, let's get right into Pinocchio.
Yes.
This is an interesting one, so I definitely want to hear your take on this. What are your thoughts on Pinocchio?
Well, I was really hoping that this was going to be the return of Tom Hanks after Elvis, because I just wasn't a fan of his character nor his performance.
And the return of Robert Zemeckis, by the way, which I didn't know going into it that he directed this.
Yeah,
and wrote it.
That was an exciting thing as well. But yeah, there were things that I enjoyed about it. Of course, it's the story of Pinocchio. It's sweet and it's scary. It's a frightening tale.
Yeah,
I remember this movie messing me up a lot.
Yeah. Well, and the Disneyland ride too, right?
As a kid.
The
Disneyland ride.
Very dark.
Totally. But this really wasn't the return of Tom Hanks because it was kind of like a minor role, really. He wasn't really in it a lot. I think he was just sort of billed to bring in the people. I thought it looked great. I loved the way that
wait, you thought it looked great, really?
I thought there were aspects of it that looked nice. Like one thing that I thought was really cool was how they brought Pinocchio to life, how the star goes to the picture and then goes to the doll, like connecting.
Yeah, I like that.
And so there were aspects of it that were really nice. I just think that if you're going to remake something, you got to do something different with it. It's like when somebody says they're remaking a song and it's the exact same song, like that Weezer when they did Africa.
Yeah,
they just did the same exact song, and so there really wasn't any sort of added bonus to it. So I don't know. I was kind of left a bit disappointed. I know that my kids would love it if I showed them.
But let's go into, because I think this is actually going to be a nice discussion, and I think this is where I want to focus at least our conversation on this film about it. But so you said you're okay with the visuals. I think that was maybe my biggest complaint, was this just felt like newer Zemeckis in terms of like just a too reliance on CGI. And like what I really wanted to see was actual puppets, because like two of the characters are what's called marionettes. There we go.
Yeah.
Two of the characters are actual like practical stuff, practical characters, and to me, it's like go back to classic filmmaking where it's like you have to build these characters, because I don't know what the budget was, but this is not a cheap film, and
like the cat, for example, could have been a real cat. I don't know why they did it.
Why isn't that a real cat? Like
I get the fish. I get the fish because the fish had to do something specific, and no real fish is going to be trained to do so. But
exactly, I'm with you on that. Jiminy Cricket, sure, you're not going to be able to suit up a cricket with top hat and a jacket. Okay, I'm good with Jiminy Cricket. I'm good with the fish, but Figaro, should have been real, and you could have CGI'd parts of her. And then I don't understand why Pinocchio couldn't have been real, and then you kind of CGI'd some of it, or at least in the beginning part, and then it kind of transformed into it. But and then it just this to me just was too reliant on CGI.
I say it all the time. This was a wasted opportunity. That they had a real chance to, but it's tough when you're remaking these Disney classics, and it's unfortunate that Disney plays it safe, and that's exactly what they did here. They played it safe. They put out a safe product, and they're going to get their views, and new people are going to be exposed.
This was a single for me.
Yeah.
They didn't. Nobody tried to stretch their imagination. Nobody took any chances. You worded it perfectly, Pete, and I think that's why I'm disappointed as a filmmaker. Is because, like you're saying, so many missed opportunities to where we could have seen some great combination of pushing the envelope of film. Again, like you're saying before, like when you talk about emotion and feelings, Pinocchio is a darker tale. And it's okay, by the way, to scare a child. It's okay to make us feel uncomfortable. Like those are natural, good feelings. And not everything is hunky dory. And I think Disney, like the moral story of this character is good, right? And that's a good story. So don't veer away from it. Like I loved feeling that uneasiness watching this as a kid. And I did not go back and see the original yet. I just didn't have enough time this weekend, but it is something I do want to watch. But that is again part of the art of filmmaking is to create these feelings, and it's not always positive. Like again, just like real life, we have negative feelings, we have positive feelings, but at the end of the day, a happy ending, And but that was another point with this film as well, where they, he didn't become a real boy at the ending, right?
Um, Shoot, no, I don't remember.
No, I mean, I read it today because I wanted to do a little bit more research too on it.
I don't remember him transforming ever.
No, he didn't. From what I read, and now I'm not gonna lie, I fell a little bit asleep during this film, but like I said, the film, and again, they were like yelling at each other at the end when he's like 400 miles away in the ocean. Like, I mean, I don't know. Some of those stuff just really pissed me off.
Also, the mixed messaging of it, like Pinocchio starts lying, and so his nose starts to grow, but the only way out of this cage is the key. So he tells one more lie just to get a reward and escape. Like, is that what we're teaching our kids nowadays?
I
Is
don't
that
know.
if you just tell that one right lie, everything's going to be great?
Yeah, or you can figure out a way to do it without lying. Like, I don't know. I agree with you. Again, I think this film ultimately, I like I said, is your kids are probably gonna like it.
Sure,
Are you gonna watch it with your family? Sure. It's on Disney
sure.
Plus. If you got Disney Plus, I'm not telling you
I
definitely don't
must.
watch it. I think, like you're saying, just the potential of this story and where we were as kids, and where this plays into Disney history. I would think Walt Disney was maybe a little disappointed with this film because they played it safe, like you're saying, and did not stretch the envelope. So take that for what it's worth, audience. We're gonna go ahead and move to our next film, which is Medieval. And let me tell you guys, I said this about The Northman, and I want to say it to this film as well. There's not a lot of movies like this
Hmm.
nowadays. These kind of more epic, historical, European kind of medieval films. They're kind of on the way out. They're just few and far between. The Last Duel, right? Which I thought was a pretty good film and nobody saw, right?
Hmm.
I really enjoyed Medieval. I have one critique on it, and this is just I think a personal thing for me. If you can get over this, the film is awesome. But I didn't like the fact that this is the film is takes place in Prague, so they're more of that kind of Eastern European accent. All the characters, all the accents were British, and and for me, I'm just like Eastern European accent is like the easiest accent to learn. And last time I checked, your job as an actor is to act. So learn the accents. So I blame the director because that ultimately the director makes this choice. But hey guys, you're gonna need to learn an Eastern European accent. Can you guys do that? You're especially British actors. Like they can do
Right,
that. Like they do American accents all the time, which is harder than an Eastern European accent.
right.
And so that was my only pet peeve of it. I had the same issue with Chernobyl, which takes place in Russia. And again, Russia is even an easier accent, and
Right.
nobody had a Russian accent in Chernobyl.
I think we've got to get out of here. The nuclear reactor just
Yeah,
blew.
it totally throws me off. I'm like, you guys you couldn't spend a month learning the Russian accent. Like nobody could do it.
Hey, comrade.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
seriously. Ah, comrade. Like yeah, it was just I mean, Hunt for Red October. I mean that I guess that was one of Sean Connery's biggest. Even though it's Sean Connery, but it's like everyone else had a Russian accent at least, right? Like,
Yeah,
all right,
well,
we can give a
Sean
pass to
Connery's allowed to do whatever he wants.
no, exactly. I can give a pass to Sean Connery because it's Sean Connery, but the rest of you guys need to learn the Russian accent. And this one, I could have gave Ben Foster the pass on this one, but I need the rest of everybody else to have one.
I would give Ben Foster the pass on anything. He can do
And he
no
was
wrong.
great.
He's amazing. He's
He was
always
great,
amazing.
and that's why I wanted to watch this film. And he of course delivers. Uh,
He's
I
my
what
favorite actor.
what I really liked about this film was this was a film about a historical figure that I've never heard of, and I'm pretty well researched, and so I loved hearing this story about basically one of the greatest military commanders of all time. And I'm not going to give away some of the other things about it, but you know, I just love learning and hearing about historical figures we've never learned before. You know, Woman King, which comes out next week, is a similar type of story where it's based on a true story. So we're going to hear about characters we've never heard about,
Right.
and they had an impact on our world. And so I definitely recommend people that like, I call this a Braveheart light. You know, at least Mel Gibson had a Scottish accent, but I feel, you know, and James Horner didn't do the score, but I thought the score was pretty solid, cinematography solid, like just a very good double, maybe even a triple of a film for medieval. So
Wow.
I
I
recommend
can't wait
seeing
to see
it.
it.
If you like those type of films, go see it.
Can't wait to see
It
it.
is violent though. If you don't like violence, Rose, you may not like this film. But if you like violence and good medieval stuff, this is up your alley. So with that, our next film is Barbarian, which again, like I mentioned before, is the number one film in the box office this week with 10 million, which is disappointing numbers in general. But Pete, you went and saw this.
I did. And I was like, okay, we don't like to bash filmmakers, and they put their heart and soul into these projects, and I get it. I did not understand how this movie got made. I left the theater thinking to myself, this is the dumbest shit I've ever seen in my life. And I rarely say that.
Yeah.
Um, let's talk about it a little bit. So a girl goes to a bed and not a bed and
By
breakfast.
the way, 79 Metascore on it, which
Dude,
not a
I
bad
saw
number.
that. Super great scores on Rotten Tomatoes, on IMDb, but I don't understand it. Like, in the audience that I was with was just making fun of it the whole time. Like, this is ridiculous. Everyone was screaming. Everyone was pissed off. Everyone just couldn't wait to get out of the theater, like when it ended, because so this girl gets an Airbnb. There's already a dude there. Bill Skarsgård is the guy that's there. There's like this tension, like, is he bad, is he not? That's the first third of the film. Then they discover this room, so they go into this room, it goes underground, and then Bill Skarsgård, he disappears, and then there's like this old woman that attacks them, but then it immediately cuts
By the way, did
to.
you already mention Bill Skarsgård is the clown of it? He's um
Yes, well, our
clown
audience is.
Pennywise. He's
Yeah,
Pennywise the clown
our
from.
audience is very bright. They know who Bill Skarsgård is, Paul.
I
And
don't
then
like to
it
give our audience that much credit, but
Yeah, and so then they jump to a completely different scenario with Justin Long, who, by the way, is hilarious. If this movie has one redeeming value, is that Justin Long's character is hilarious in this movie. He's like this up and coming actor who gets accused of sexually assaulting or raping, and it's like he's driving in Malibu, but he has this house that he owns, which is the house that these people came into, and then he gets entangled in this whole thing, and it's just this woman creature who just wants to have a baby, but is like a monster, and is kind of like not all mentally there, like can't really talk, so it's always like just like mama, 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 like just wants a baby. Oh my God, it was just every time something would happen, like they would open a door and another door, like another passageway would be revealed. Like everybody in the audience was just like, no, come on, this is so typical. Like there was just nothing original about it. It was just so dumb. It was a dumb
yeah.
movie. I don't understand why it was the number one movie, and
Well,
I,
there's nothing to see. First of all, look.
I
First of all,
absolutely don't
Top Gun
recommend it at
Maverick
all.
is still number three, I think, on the box office. DC Super Pets is number four. And by the way, that didn't do well initially. It's made back its money already, just because there's been no one else to go see movies. It's
It's got
animated,
legs.
so yeah, it did have legs, so it made back its money. And then what's the other one out? DC. I
I'm sure
forget, but
Thor is still out there.
yeah, it's on Disney Plus though, so that's gonna lose. But I mean, even Top Gun Maverick, it's number one on demand right now too. So it's
Crushing.
like even me, I have the AMC pass, holler AMC, and if you want to, you know, go see a movie, it's like, do I want to see an average movie or do I want to go see besides Medieval, or do I want to go see Top Gun again? You know what I mean? And it's like I've seen Top Gun now 9 times, 9 times.
Things.
You know,
Yeah,
so it's just
I'm gonna go and see movies that I've already seen moving forward.
go see Top Gun again, dude. You've only seen it
Except
once.
Woman King. I'm thrilled about that
Oh
movie. I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
wait to see it next week or this weekend.
I'm gonna see that on Thursday for sure.
So at the end of the day, don't go see Barbarian. It's dumb.
I'm gonna
It's
see it
just a
tomorrow
dumb
just
movie.
because, like I said, I've got a movie slot I need to take up. I'm gonna go see it just because you said Justin Long's funny. So
He's
hopefully,
funny. He's
hopefully it'll be worth
hilarious.
it.
But man, you're gonna walk out of there. Just text me when you're out. You're gonna be so mad.
All right. So big question, Pete, for our audience that has followed us on this journey: Barbarian or Crimes of the Future? If you had to pick one to go see, and you have to see it, which one are you gonna
I'm
force to
gonna
see
see
again?
I'm gonna see the Barbarian just because
Oh,
at
okay.
least there's Justin Long and a little bit of comedy. But I'll never see Crimes of the Future ever again. That was the dumbest shit I ever saw.
See, so maybe I will like Barbarian more because I mean, don't get me wrong, Crimes of the Future is rough, uh, and it's
Dude,
filmmaking.
this is such a close second.
Yeah.
It's close. I mean,
All
we're
right.
talking
Well,
a
maybe
hair.
I'll like Barbarian. We'll
You
see.
might.
Again, critics like it, guys. So let's also keep in mind, audience, that Pete isn't always right, and critics love this film, which Pete's not necessarily a
They
film
should all
critic.
be
He's
fired.
Pete's more
It's
of the
so dumb.
general cinema score type audience. But yeah. All right. Well, Pete, let's move on to number 4. This film is on Netflix called End of the Road. Stars Queen Latifah and Ludacris. Pete, what are your thoughts on this one? I haven't seen this yet. I'm looking forward to actually seeing
Yeah,
this.
no,
Actually, gonna watch this tonight.
it's decent. I mean, it's a fun time, I suppose. It's not a great movie. Um, you know, they're the family that Queen Latifah's husband died, and Ludacris is the brother. They've got 2 kids, but they have to move, so they're driving to Texas where the mom lives. And while they're driving, there's like a murder in the motel room next to them, and when they go in there to see what happened, they find a big giant bag of money, and the money happens to belong to a cartel. Then suspense kind of ensues.
And this is a thriller, by the way,
I mean,
guys. Queen
there's
Latifah
moments
is.
where it's a little bit, yeah, there's moments of tension in this
It's not.
movie, and
This is not a comedy, right?
Ludacris is funny. He plays a no. This is not a
Yeah.
comedy at all. This is a thriller for sure.
Yeah, because
Um,
again, I want the audience to understand both Queen Latifah and Ludacris. They've been in more kind of comedic type of roles, so this is more of a thriller film. So continue, Pete. Sorry.
yeah, it's definitely worth it if definitely worth it if you need to see something, and it's the weekend or kids finally went to sleep. You want to watch something, but not have to think too much. You just want to watch something and enjoy your time. This might be for you. Not great, but it's not awful. It's
Right.
just an average, fine movie.
So a solid single, maybe we'll call it that.
Yeah, it's a good
Awesome.
one timer.
Yeah. Okay. So last one we have Pete is documentary. We don't do a ton of documentaries, but hey, we don't hate documentaries. So
And
Anthrax
I'm bringing them
Attacks.
back.
Yeah. Anthrax Attacks. We'll try and do more, guys. If there's a big time documentary,
I
we'll check it out.
and I love documentaries. So when the new ones come out, and if it's worth talking about, I'll certainly spotlight it because I love a good documentary. It makes me feel smart when I'm at a party and I
Well,
talk
and
about
I mean, documentaries are so well done compared to 30 years ago. I mean,
it. Yeah,
you look at the documentaries that came out in the 1990s compared to the 2010s. Like some of the greatest films, period, are documentaries now. So, and a lot of A-list directors are doing documentaries now. So,
it's true.
yeah.
So the anthrax attacks in the shadow of 9/11. Directed by Dan Krause, who did the Dirty Money documentary on Netflix, which was real good. It stars Clark Gregg, who was in the Avengers. He plays
Agent. He's the agent that dies in the first Avengers. Spoiler alert.
yeah, he's the Agent Shield guy.
Yeah, he's like the right
Um,
hand guy of Nick Fury.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly him. And so when I saw that he was starring in, I'm like, is this really a documentary? But they basically have like transcripts and videos of this guy. Basically, this documentary follows an FBI investigation after the letters were found after 9/11 with anthrax inside of them, and sort of the panic that it
Right.
causes, and sort of the tragedy and the deaths that sort of happened because of it. Um, I really, really recommend this documentary because, like a great documentary, it keeps you guessing all the way through, and even at the end, you're still left with, even though there's like a 99% certainty that they really caught the guy, there's that 1% of you that says, did he though?
Yeah.
So basically, Clark Gregg, who plays this guy who worked for the US government, developing the anthrax virus, and he at first was helping, but then they started like questioning him, like maybe he became a suspect, but then they're like, no. And then it just continues on from there. And it's not like a docu-series like you would see on,
Is it a 2 hour documentary? Is it like a multi?
it's probably like an hour and a half or so,
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's not like a limited series or anything where you've got to like really invest like 4 to 5 hours of time. This is just like a quick sit down one time, watch it. Really well done.
Oh, by the way, before I forget, guys, if you haven't seen the Lakers documentary, I believe is that on Hulu, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's really good. If you like basketball, if you like the Lakers, I mean, this is your ticket.
Sign me up.
It's pretty much on par with Winning Time. I like Winning Time more just because it's so stylized and all that. But
And
in terms
fake.
of sports and documentaries, like you're not getting much better than this Lakers documentary on Hulu. So I forget the name off the top of my head, but check it out. Awesome. Well, let's wrap it up, Pete. I know you have a meeting, but so audience, if we had to rate what to see first, what to see last, I'm gonna do my numbers, Pete, and you can do yours based off my reviews. On for your reviews. I'm gonna say Medieval number one.
Agreed.
Um, I'd say Pinocchio number two, maybe number one if you have a family. Number three, I'd say Anthrax Attacks. Number four, End of the Road. Number five, if you got time, Barbarian. So that's how I'd rate them.
100% agree with that order.
Yeah.
I might switch um, Pinocchio with the Anthrax Attacks only because I love the documentaries more, but
Yeah, maybe.
can go either way.
Awesome. And then next week, we hope to get back onto some solid theatrical releases. But Woman King comes out next week, starring Viola Davis, and that should be a solid film. The trailer looks amazing, so
Yeah,
we're looking forward to that.
that's
And
going to be
then,
great.
and then on the Action podcast audience, we've got Back to the Future coming out later this week with Pete Bush and Jake Finsky. We always crush it with those guys, so that's going to be a good time. Then the following week, we're going to have Goonies with Dominique and Rose, and then after that, we'll have Star Wars. Yes, Star Wars with Lawrence and our good friend Drew here, a new podcast guest. So that's what we got on tap, guys. Thanks for joining us, and as always,
Be sure to like and subscribe.
make sure you like and subscribe. We're on Apple, we're on Spotify, we're on Google Podcasts, wherever you get your favorite podcasts, we're there. And then you can also catch us on YouTube. Make sure you comment also what you want to see. If you have your own short little review you want to put on a video, we'll read your reviews.
Oh, I would love to see it.
So yeah, guys, comment. We want to engage with you guys, so please do that. But with that, Pete, thank you so much. And that is a cut. Thanks, guys.
Bye.